Welcome back. It's the last drive of the year. Did you hear the one about the Hudson Valley UFOs? New Year's Eve always feels unfinished. People rush toward midnight. They watch the clock. Everyone craves a fresh start. They pin their hopes on the promise of tomorrow. But there's a quieter version of New Year's Eve. Out on the highways, between towns, where people are just trying to get home. Sometimes, those folks getting home see more than they bargained for. In the Hudson Valley in eastern New York State, New Year's Eve has a reputation not for parties, but for the night the sky lit up. Not with fireworks, but by something not of this world. Get cozy in the passenger seat, my friend. Make sure your seatbelt is on snug, because tonight we're driving through one of the most documented UFO waves in American history. The Hudson Valley stretches north of New York City. Forests, reservoirs, long, dark roads. In winter, sound carries strangely here, and the sky feels closer. Between 1982 and 1986, hundreds of people reported seeing something unusual, especially on holidays, including New Year's Eve. Large objects, silent, moving slowly over highways, not streaking, not blinking, just there, watching, observing. One New Year's Eve, just before midnight, a couple was driving north after a family gathering. They later told investigators, and I quote, "At first, we thought it was a plane coming in low, but it wasn't loud, and it wasn't moving right." End quote. They described a V-shaped formation of lights, large, too large to judge a distance. The object paced their car, not following, not passing, matching their speed. They didn't pull over, they just kept driving and watched it move ahead of them until it drifted silently over the trees. One of the most unsettling details of the Hudson Valley sightings is how often they involve multiple cars. On one New Year's Eve night, several drivers independently described the same moment. Quote, "Cars were pulling over ahead of us. No one was yelling. No one was running. We just stood there looking up." End quote. They described a massive craft, low enough to see structure, dark shapes between lights. Someone joked nervously. Others were silent, in awe. Then the object moved on, and people quietly got back into their cars and drove away. People get rowdy on New Year's Eve, and so New Year's Eve means more police patrols, more officers, more reports. One officer later stated, quote, "Dispatch kept getting calls from different towns. Everyone was describing the same thing. That's what bothered me." End quote. The officer observed lights himself, stationary at first, then moving, without sound. No scramble jets, no emergency explanation, no explanation at all. Just a report logged on a night already full of them. Most police are scared to report these things, for fear that they'll lose their jobs or be ridiculed. So a lot of these quotes come in anonymously, because well, people do have to put food on their table, and they're scared of being locked up for what they've clearly experienced. Another eyewitness driving with friends after midnight said, quote, "Someone laughed and said it was a prank, but you don't prank half the valley at once," end quote. They described the object drifting slowly, as if aware of being watched, but unconcerned. No sudden movement, no display, just presence. That's what most witnesses emphasized. Not fear, presence. Maybe it was showing off. Maybe it was advertising. Several witnesses during the New Year's Eve sightings experienced a very unique after effect. They didn't celebrate midnight. They simply forgot. One man later said, and I quote, "We didn't even realize it was the new year until we got home. That's how focused we were." Time mattered on that night, which made the interruption feel sharper. Explanations came later, or they tried. Small planes, atmospheric disturbances, swamp gas, military exercises, optical illusions, or maybe some of the witnesses had had one too many during their New Year's Eve celebrations. But the reports never stopped being consistent. Like I said, this stretched for about a 2-year period of consistent UFO sightings throughout the Hudson Valley. Multiple witnesses came forward. Silent movement, low altitude, and no single explanation that accounted for all of it. Especially not on a night when so many people were already looking at the clock. After New Year's Eve passes, most people don't talk about what didn't make sense. They talk about resolutions, fresh starts. But some nights don't reset cleanly. According to ufologist Peter Gersten, quote, "It could be explained as extraterrestrial. We had someone try to photograph the object, but it has avoided being filmed." If you're curious in knowing more about the subject, there was a book published in 1987. It's called Night Siege, The Hudson Valley UFO Sightings. Apropos title. It's written by J. Allen Hynek, who you may or may not know as quite a important person in the UFO field. Co-authored by Philip J. Imbrogo, who was one of the big Hudson Valley UFO hunters, and Bob Pratt. Imbrogo himself reported having witnessed the Hudson Valley UFO for a period of 5 minutes. In 1992, the sightings were also a subject of an episode of Unsolved Mysteries, which is still one of my favorite television shows of all time. What streaked through the sky that New Year's Eve night at the Hudson Valley, and what kept coming back? To this day, of course, no one has any idea. We can't put our finger on the problem. I, for one, your friendly driver, wholeheartedly believe in UFOs, and yes, I still call them UFOs. I still can't get behind UAP. For me, unidentified flying objects is the correct designation. And Hudson Valley is only one of thousands of places where unidentified flying objects have been seen in wave after wave. What were they doing? Why do they come here? There are many theories. I will not profess to have an answer, my friend, because I do not. None of us really do. I do hope, though, that we get answers one day. That we know if they are space brothers, if they are alien enemies, or if they are us from the future, or some sort of inner planet inhabitant. Which, by the way, I have a great story to share about inner Earth beings, and maybe I'll save that for another drive down the road. I hope you'll join me for that. But if you're driving tonight and you notice the sky feels closer than it should, don't panic. Don't stop. Just keep going. And remember, a lot of people were on the road that night too. And they made it home safe, with a hell of a story to tell. And all because they kept driving. Happy New Year. I wonder what's in store for us. Just around the bend of the road.